Good morning and welcome back, students. In last video we have seen lesson number 5 in science, separation of substances. We have studied about the introduction and its examples. Today we are going to study about the methods of separation. How do we separate the substances? So the different methods of separation are hand picking, threshing, winnowing, sieving, sedimentation, decantation, filtration and evaporation. We are going to study all these methods in details. Okay. Now first method we are going to study is of hand picking. Hand picking, the word itself simply suggests just picking up with your hand. You can bring a packet of food grain from any grocery shop, or you may find it at your home also. See, you can find that does it contains only grains? No, it also contains impurities like husk, stone and broken grains or any other grain in it, right? So how will you separate the grains from the impurities? So simply by picking up with your hand you can do this. You must have seen your mother separating the impurities from the grain like this. Did you saw how simply she was picking up with the hands the impurities? Okay, she was separating by simply hand picking. But when this hand picking method can be used only when the impurities are slightly larger in the size, then only you can find it, see it and simply pick it up by your hands. And the when we can apply this hand picking method, when the quantity of such impurities is not very large, it is in small quantities, then you can easily separate it. So in such situations hand picking is a convenient method for separating. Now moving on to our next method of separation, which is threshing. Now what is threshing? Let us understand. Students, you must have seen bundles of wheat or paddy stalks lying in the fields after harvesting. Have you ever wondered how the farmers separate the grains from the stalks? What they do, first of all, they tie all the stalks together in a bundle and then put them in under the sun so that it can dry. Each stalk contains so many grains in it. Okay, students, so here we can see different these are the stalks of grains. Okay, many stalks of grains are there, you can see. So each single stalks contains many grain seeds. Okay, many grain seeds are attached to one single stalk. Can you do it by hand picking? Imagine thousands of stalks are there. Can you collect each seed by just hand picking? No, it is a very tedious task. So what you can do, what the farmer does, the stalks are simply beaten on a hard surface so that all the seeds will separate from its stalks. Okay, so this is called threshing. It can also be done by using bullocks, oxen, or machines called threshers are also used for this. So the process that is used to separate the grains from its stalks by simply beaten to free the grain seeds like this, it is called as threshing. Okay. Now, moving on to our next method of separation, which is winnowing. We have already learned about threshing, in which the stalks are beaten to separate the seeds from the stalks. But the mixture of the grains still contain other impurities like sand or dry leaves or husk. Okay. See, this is husk in the grain. How the method of separating the husk from the grain is known as winnowing. Okay, for that you have to do one thing, that you have to go on an open ground and stand on a raised platform like this and hold the plate or the sheet of paper containing mixture at your shoulder height. Now tilt the mixture slightly and it slides out slowly. See, the husk, because it is lighter in weight, with the help of the air it will blow away and the grains which are heavier than the husk will fall down on the ground. So likewise, like this way you can separate the grain from the husk, and the remaining husk can be used as a fodder for the cattle. This is the winnowing method, where we separate the heavier and lighter components with the help of wind or blowing air. In winnowing method, the wind is playing a major role. Because of the wind, the husk particles are carried away and the heavier seeds of the grain fall in the same place and it will form heap of grains like this. Okay, and the remaining husk is used as a fodder for cattle. Another method of separation is sieving. Sometimes you wish to prepare a dish using flour, okay? But the flour still may contain the stalk, husk, or stone pieces. Even after threshing and winnowing, if it remains, then you have to use sieve to separate the flour from the impurities. How? See, the sieve has holes in it like this. So the fine flour particles will pass through the sieve, okay? It will pass through, but the bigger impurities remain on the sieve. See, like this, when we sieve the flour, the bran remains on the sieve while the flour collected in the bowl. Okay, so this is what is called sieving. You may have also noticed similar sieves being used at the construction sites wherever the construction is being carried out. So the sand may contain bigger stones, pebbles. Okay, so to separate it, a sieve is used. What is done? The sand is passed through the sieve, a slanting sleeve, and what will happen? The fine particles of sand will fall on the ground while the pebbles and the stones will remain on the sieve itself. One more point in sieving, it is given that if you will mix the fine powder of chalk pieces with the flour, then can you separate it by sieving? Think of it. No. Why? Because sieving is only used when the components of a mixture have different size. If the size is different, two component size is different, then only you can separate through sieving. But if the components, both the components are of similar size, you cannot separate it through sieving. Okay. Now let us move on to decantation, sedimentation, decantation and filtration process. Okay. Now students, you know that if the particles and impurities are bigger in size, then you can remove it by winnowing process and hand picking process as we have seen earlier. But there are also particles like dust, soil particles in rice and pulses. So you must have seen your mother, she washes the rice and pulses before cooking. So how they are separated? What your mother does, in a container she takes pulses or rice and mix it with water in order to wash them. So what happens here? Let us understand with this demo. If you are given a mixture of water and sand, you mix it, and if you keep it aside untouched for half an hour, then what happens? Whatever sand particles are mixed with water, all will settle down at the bottom of the beaker and clear water will be above the beaker. This process of settling down of the sand is known as sedimentation. And if you collect the above clear water in separate container, it is known as decantation. Why this happens? Because the heavier particles settle down while the lighter ones come above. Another what is given here, that these two processes, sedimentation and decantation, can be used when two insoluble liquid mixture is made and solids and liquids are mixed with each other. Then take an example like oil mixed with water. What will happen? It will form two separate layers in a container. See, the water will settle down, whereas the oil will form a separate layer above it. Okay. So likewise you can separate both these oil and water from each other. How? Because the oil is above, you can separate and take it in another container. This is called as decantation, and whatever water is there settle down, it is sediment. It is known as sediment, while this process of removal of oil in another container is called as decantation. Okay. Next what it is, separating the solids from the liquids. Take an example of preparing tea with the help of tea leaves which is mixed with milk. Tea leaves are in solid state while the milk is in liquid state. Can you think of separating tea from the milk with the help of sedimentation and decantation process? No. You have to try the process of totally filtration, okay, with the help of a strainer. Let us watch a video. We will use strainer. See, this is a strainer. When we pass the tea leaves and milk mixture through it, the tea leaves remain in the strainer, whereas the liquid part, that is tea, will be collected. But in some cases, what happens? Tiny solid particles still remain in it. In such condition, we make use of a filter paper which has hundreds of tiny pores in it. Let us take an example over here. Collect some muddy water from a river or pond which we have already separated through the process of sedimentation, decantation, but still the impurities like fine impurities still remain in the water. How will you separate it? With the help of a filter paper which has hundreds of tiny holes in it. See here, place the filter paper in a funnel, then let the muddy water pass through it in order to filter it. The fine filtrate is collected in the beaker. See, in the filter paper you can see fine solid particles as impurities which are remain in the filter paper because of the tiny pores. They cannot pass through it, whereas the liquid collected is free of impurities. This is known as filtration. Now student, also the filtration process is also used when fruit and vegetable juices are made to filter or separate the seeds and solid particles of the pulp from the juice, so you can easily drink it. Also at home you have seen the preparation of paneer. See, how can you prepare? With the help of milk. Adding few drops of lemon juice into milk, you will obtain a mixture of particles of solid paneer along with some liquid. Then you have to filter it through a cloth or a strainer, and then you can finally obtain paneer. So you can use the process of filtration at home for such purposes also. Paneer is also known as cottage cheese. Let us move to the next method of separation, which is evaporation. Now in this we will make use of a mixture of water and salt. We will try to separate it, the salt from the water, with the help of evaporation process. When we continuously heat the water gets converted into vapor or steam. The process of conversion of water into vapor is called evaporation. Now, if you have a salt water, that is mixture of salt and water, so how will you separate the salt from the water? First of all, when you heat the water, all water will be converted into vapor where the process of evaporation, and only salt will be remain at the bottom of the beaker. Okay, through this your evaporation concept might be clear till now. So now let us see, where does this salt you use, where does it comes from? Okay, so it comes from the sea water, because sea water contains many salts mixed with it. But how can we obtain salt? See, the sea water is allowed to stand in shallow pits. Because of the heat from the sunlight, the sea water gets converted into vapor by the process of evaporation, and what remains behind? Just salt. Now students, use of more than one method of separation. We can either use single method, or when one method is not sufficient to separate the different substances present in a mixture, we have to make use of more than one method of separation. Let us take example of a solution where in water there is a mixture of sand plus salt. Water plus sand and salt. We have to separate all the three components from each other. Then what we will have to do? Let us see. We will separate the sand by sedimentation, remove the salty water by decantation. Now separate the salt and water by heating. Transfer the salty water into a kettle, close its lid and allow it to heat. Then what will happen? Water in the form of vapor will come out from the spout of the kettle. When water is completely evaporated by evaporation, only salt will remain in the kettle. This way we have separated salt and water. But where is the water? For that, collecting the same water, we have to understand the concept of condensation. In which what you will do, you will take a metal plate containing ice and hold it near the spout of the kettle. The vapor coming out of it will come in contact with the metal plate, which is cold. When the vapor comes in contact with a cold surface, it is condensed and forms liquid water as the drops you observe falling from the plate, because of the condensation of the steam. So the process of conversion of water vapor into again water is called as condensation. Thus we have separated salt, sand and water using the process of decantation, filtration, evaporation and condensation. Now Can water dissolve any amount of substances? See what is written here. What will happen if we go on adding more and more of these substances to a fixed quantity of water? Will it be able to dissolve all of that? What will happen? Let us see. Take a beaker and fill it with water. Now start adding some amount of salt to it and then mix it. You will see that the salt is soluble in water. Up till now the solution is in unsaturated state. It is an unsaturated solution. If you keep adding more and more salt and try to mix it, then a stage will come where the salt will not mix with water. The solution is now said to be saturated solution, which means no more salt can be dissolved in the amount of water that we have taken. So what needs to be done here to make it soluble? So let me tell you that the temperature and quantity of water is important for the substance to get dissolved in it. See, we have taken tap water and also ice cold water. The temperature of both the water is different. For example, if we dissolve salt in it, if we keep adding more and more salt in both the beakers, one stage may come that it will stop dissolving. But if I heat the water and then try to dissolve the salt, then yes, more salt can be dissolved in the water by heating. So less temperature means less solubility and higher temperature, so higher solubility. So students, we have finished the chapter number 5, separation of substances. I hope you understand all these methods of separation, and if you have any query regarding this, you can directly ask me in comment section. And I have covered almost each and every line of the textbook of this chapter, okay? And I recommend you to read your textbook, read the chapter in your textbook at least once, because if you will read in the textbook, you will able to answer each and every question in the examination very easily, and you can make your answers by yourself and write also. Thank you.